In today's media landscape, celebrities are no longer just entertainers. Many of them position themselves as thinkers, commentators, and voices of social awareness. This shift has changed how audiences engage with public figures. People are no longer satisfied with talent alone. They want opinions, values, and moral clarity. But with that expectation comes scrutiny, and not everyone navigates it successfully. One name that frequently comes up in these conversations is Twinkle Khanna. Twinkle Khanna is widely known as a former actress, an author, a columnist, and a media personality. Over the years, she has reinvented herself from a film star into someone who speaks openly about social issues, gender roles, and modern relationships. Her writing is often sharp, humorous, and confident. For many, this confidence is refreshing. For others, it has become a point of discomfort. The debate surrounding Twinkle Khanna is not about her intelligence or success. Few would deny that she is articulate and accomplished. The real discussion revolves around tone, consistency, and how her public persona is perceived, especially when she speaks about feminism.
Being a feminist has been I've had to walk backwards.
Feminism is a serious and deeply rooted social movement. It is about equality, dignity, and justice. When public figures align themselves with feminism, audiences expect responsibility and depth. They expect empathy, self-awareness, and an openness to dialogue. Problems arise when feminism appears to be used more as a label than as a lived value. This is where criticism of Twinkle Khanna often begins. Many viewers feel that her approach to feminism leans heavily on sarcasm and intellectual superiority. In interviews and public conversations, her tone sometimes appears dismissive, particularly toward opinions that differ from her own.
We never had these conversations. We never spoke about feminism or equality or anything.
While humor can be an effective tool for discussion, it can also become a barrier when it shuts down conversation rather than opening it. Critics argue that Twinkle Khanna often positions herself as intellectually above the room. This perception is reinforced when jokes feel targeted, when guests are interrupted, or when opposing views are treated as foolish rather than explored thoughtfully. Over time, this creates an image of arrogance, whether intentional or not. Arrogance, in this context, does not necessarily mean cruelty. It often manifests as a lack of curiosity. When someone speaks with certainty but listens without patience, audiences notice. Feminism, by nature, requires listening. It requires understanding lived experiences that may differ from one's own. Another common concern is selective feminism. Some viewers feel that Twinkle Khanna speaks strongly about women's issues that align with her worldview, but avoids or minimizes topics that challenge her comfort zone or social circle. This creates the impression that feminism is being applied selectively rather than consistently. Selective feminism weakens credibility. Audiences are quick to notice when social awareness feels curated. When statements appear polished but detached from ground realities, skepticism grows. This is especially true in a country where gender inequality exists at multiple levels, not just in elite spaces.
There was absolutely no need for a man, It would be very nice to have a man, like you'd have a nice handbag, but even if you have a plastic bag, it would do.
Privilege plays a crucial role in this discussion. Twinkle Khanna comes from immense privilege, including wealth, status, and access to powerful platforms. There is nothing inherently wrong with that. However, when speaking on social issues, privilege must be acknowledged. Without that acknowledgement, commentary can feel disconnected or even patronizing. Many critics feel that her brand of feminism speaks from above rather than alongside. Instead of amplifying diverse voices, it sometimes centers her own perspective as the most enlightened one. This perception contributes to the label of pseudo-feminism that some audiences attach to her. It is important to clarify what people mean by that term. Calling someone a pseudo-feminist does not mean they oppose women's rights. It usually means that their engagement with feminism appears performative, inconsistent, or self-serving. Whether that label is fair or exaggerated is subjective, but its popularity indicates dissatisfaction among a segment of viewers. Another issue that frequently comes up is how criticism is handled. Public figures inevitably face disagreement. What separates respected voices from controversial ones is their response. When criticism is met with mockery, dismissal, or moral superiority, it deepens the divide. Some audiences feel that Twinkle Khanna does not engage with criticism in a reflective manner, but instead frames critics as ignorant or regressive. This creates an echo chamber where only validation is welcomed. True intellectual strength lies in the ability to entertain discomfort. Feminism, at its best, evolves through questioning and self-critique. When public figures appear unwilling to question themselves, their message loses depth. At the same time, it is important to acknowledge the other side. Twinkle Khanna also has supporters who admire her confidence and unapologetic voice. They argue that assertive women are often labeled arrogant in ways men are not. They believe her critics are uncomfortable with a woman who refuses to soften her opinions or cater to approval. This perspective is valid and deserves recognition. The problem is not confidence. The problem is how confidence is communicated. There is a fine line between being assertive and being dismissive. When that line is crossed repeatedly, perception shifts. Social media amplifies this shift dramatically. A single sarcastic remark can define an entire personality online. Algorithms reward outrage and controversy, not nuance. In this environment, figures like Twinkle Khanna are constantly being reinterpreted through fragments rather than full conversations. This discussion is not about cancelling Twinkle Khanna or denying her achievements. It is about accountability and awareness. Influence comes with responsibility, especially when one chooses to speak on social justice. We need to ask ourselves what kind of voices we elevate. Do we value sharp wit more than sincere engagement? Do we reward those who sound intelligent over those who seek understanding? Are we confusing performative progressiveness with meaningful contribution? These questions apply to all public figures, not just Twinkle Khanna. They also apply to audiences. As viewers, we must learn to critique without cruelty and admire without blind loyalty. We should demand better conversations, not louder ones. Feminism, media, and culture all deserve depth, not branding. In conclusion, the conversation around Twinkle Khanna reflects a larger tension in modern discourse. It is the tension between image and substance, confidence and humility, performance and authenticity. If feminism is to remain meaningful, it must be practiced with empathy, openness, and accountability. The responsibility lies with both speakers and listeners to move beyond surface-level narratives and toward honest, respectful dialogue. That is where real progress begins. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie-related content. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll talk about more behind-the-scenes facts from the film industry.